Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit 365 YouTube channel. Do not adjust your sets. The title of this video is correct. It's a September roundup. I'm going old school as I used to do, and we're going to look back at the month that has gone and look forward to the month that is coming. I've got a lot of projects that I've worked on in September, lots of knitting as well as lots of crochet. So I thought I would take a moment as we come to the end of September and I would share all of my knitting projects with you, as well as some of the crochet projects and also some stash acquisitions. Oh, look at that. Yes, hi, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Martin. I live in Cardiff and I am a knitter and crocheter. And on my YouTube channel, you will find videos about my adventures in knitting and crochet, sometimes spinning. But I like to blog my progress and share what I've been working on. So if you are new here, you are very welcome. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time and for finding me. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to getting to 10,000 subscribers in this wonderful community. It's lovely to have you. Join me today. If you are a returning viewer, I was going to say if you are a new viewer, no. If you are a returning viewer, there is a little bit of this, and I try not to edit out when I say things wrong. I like to try and keep it natural, keep it real. If you are a returning viewer, hi, as always, thank you so much for coming back and giving me some more of your time. So I hope that you have all been well. It's been a while since I did a chatty podcast, blog, video. 4 or 5 years later, still not sure, are we calling these podcasts, blogs, videos, whatever they are. It's been a while since I sat down and chatted to you. Most of September was focused on the Toft Bear Along that I did, and I did a weekly sit down Zoom where lovely folks joined me and we just did some crochet for an hour, which was lovely. And I did plan on doing some other videos interspersed, but work and life and things got in the way. But have no fear, you are all going to be sick of seeing me by the end of October because Vlogtober's coming. Whoop whoop. And there will be 3 videos a week, I think. Looking back at previous years, I've started to think about some bits for Vlogtober. Looking back at previous years, I think I try and do 3 videos a week. I can't do 1 a day, which I think was the original plan behind Vlogtober, that you kind of like just blog your day. But I'm not interested enough for that because some days there won't really be much content. And also because we're going to be doing the Stephen West mystery shawl in Vlogtober, that's kind of the only project I'm going to work on. It won't necessarily be interesting enough because some of those rows are going to get big. And I'm like, I've just done 4 rows of stocking stitch. That's not great content for you, is it? I have no idea if that's going to be anything. I'm guessing there's going to be some long rows. I'm guessing we're going to be doing a lot of stocking stitch. Who can say? So I'm going to try and do three or 4 videos a week. I'll do what I've done in previous years. I will film a little bit, and then when I've got like 20 minutes or so worth of footage, I'll then post that. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for the month ahead. This will be in the first Vlogtober video. I'll do a proper unboxing and I'll show you all of the things that I've got. We may be Team 2 kits this year. We may not. There's a plan. Watch this space. I do feel like a kid at Christmas. I just get so excited by it all. Right, focus. So today I'm going to chat about things I finished objects, stash acquisitions, whips. The whips that I have are probably going to be my whips throughout October. So even though I'm going to be doing the mystery knit along, if I get ahead of the clue, I'll need to have a few things that I need to knit on. When have I ever got ahead on the clue? In the last 5 years? Never. But you know, it's nice to be prepared. I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared. Is it the Boy Scouts? I think it's the Boy Scouts. But also, I might just need like a little palette cleanser. I'm convinced there's going to be brioche in this year's shawl because we haven't had brioche for the last few years. So I might need a bit of a palette cleanser and just something that's not a really long row of brioche. Who can say? So I hope that you are all well. I think I've said that already. I hope that you've got a hot drink. I've got some coffee. It's 10:30 on Sunday morning. So it is Sunday, the 29th of September. So I'm doing my roundup. It's not quite the end of September, but I hope that you'll forgive me. Good moment to film. We're off to my parents for a roast dinner at lunchtime. So I'm hoping to finish this. If I finish this in time, I'm going to do some exercise. And then go to my mum and dad's, and I think we're having roast chicken. They usually do roast lamb, but Mark doesn't like it. Doesn't like the smell, doesn't like the taste. We're not allowed it in our house. So my mum's like, well, we obviously won't have lamb because Mark's coming. Boo. I need him to go away with work on like a Sunday. This is my usual plan. When he's away on a Sunday, I go to my mum's for roast dinner and she does lamb. Letting you behind the curtain there. That's the inside information that you guys are here for, right? So let's get started with some finished objects. I'm going to mention them briefly. You've seen, if you've watched back on some of the other videos or you've been following me along on Instagram, you will have seen the menagerie collection. We discovered that it's a pack. Mark, what's the other word for a group of bears? A pack of bears or a sloth of bears? Ta-da! So, for those of you that may not know, you can go back and watch the other video. This is Martin, the Tibetan blue bear. It is named after me. And I was very fortunate to be able to work with Kerry Lord from Toft, the crochet company, earlier this year. And we created a blue bear. And we named him Martin. The little ones had enough of being flung around. He's now on the floor. So I created this pattern with Kerry. Or I came up with the name, Kerry created the pattern. And for the last month, I've been making Martin in every size. So just quickly to run through them. So this is the original one. This is Martin in double knit. So this is double knit yarn made on a 3mm hook. He's this super cute. I just love him. I will pop a picture on screen. If you haven't watched the Toff video, you can see the likeness and the Tibetan blue bear that we tried to make him on. So let me pop that on screen now. So that's the Tibetan blue bear. And it's called a blue bear because in some lights, that colour in around his neck, it shimmers in like a silvery colour. But that's the picture of what they look like when they're sitting still, I'm guessing. So this is Martin in double knit, and that's the original one. What I also then did is I've made him in fine yarn. So this is 4-ply. It's thinner than a 4-ply. I think it might be closer to a lace weight yarn, but this is done on a 2mm hook. So tiny. Then we made him in an Aran yarn, and this is done with a 5mm hook. And I love, as you go up, they get a little bit more shaggier and a little bit floppier. So that's the Aran on a 5mm. And then we've got the Chunky on an 8mm hook. Now, I think he's as big as Noah, nephew 1. Hello. So I've had the best month. So basically in September, I've crocheted a lot of bears. That would be a great thumbnail, wouldn't it? Maybe, we'll see. So that's my menagerie pack sloth of bears. And there is going to be another one that joins the family. There's going to be another 2 that join the family at some point. So this is the fine Martin. So this is mini crochet. I've made friends with a lady called Holly on Instagram. I'll put Holly's details below. You can go and check out some of her creations. Holly makes micro crochet. So this was done with a 2mm hook. Holly uses like a 0.8 hook or a 0.7 hook. I don't even think I could do that without my glasses on to be able to see that small. Holly is very kindly making me a micro Martin. So there's going to be one smaller than this. So I can't wait for you folks to see him at some point. I think I might be getting him in October. but I will keep you posted as soon as I get that. I messaged Holly and said, can I pay you to make me a micro Martin? Because I didn't have fun. This was the first mini that I ever made, and first and only, never again. Some people love this kind of really tiny crochet, not me. Couldn't work out where to do the stitches. I'm quite short-sighted, so without my glasses on, or my contact, like I can't actually see the numbers on the camera now because I'm like, so even doing this, I was struggling. So I need like magnifying glasses or binoculars or something. So I messaged and said, I take my hat off to you because the mini was enough. I really don't want to do a micro. So Holly kindly agreed that she would make me one and I didn't need to pay her. We would do a skills exchange. So Holly can knit, but says because she's a crocheter who knits, whereas I'm a knitter who crochets, she sometimes struggles with tension on patterns and things. So we've agreed a skills swap. And in the Toft Quarterly, where the pattern for Martin Bear is, there is a hat. Let me find it. It's called the Canopy Beanie. So I'm going to be making the hat for Holly. So at Alexandra Palace at the Knitting and Stitching Show in a couple of weeks' time, where we'll be going for Vlogtober, we're going to do a drop-off. And Holly's going to drop off the yarn for the hat. I'm going to pick the yarn up. Kerry's going to facilitate the exchange. And then I'm going to make Holly the hat in exchange for a teeny tiny micro Martin Bear. And I love that. That's a proper community thing. That's like, I don't need any money. You do that, I'll do that. And we do a skills exchange. So I'm really looking forward to that. So a micro Martin is going to join the menagerie. And I kind of thought I was done. But for those of you that are Toft fans, you may have seen that there's now a book tour happening throughout October. Kerry and some of the team are going to a number of John Lewis stores around the country to do book signings. There's going to be a patch. And the patch is Jane the Pangolin. And so that they've got a little mascot to go around the country with them, they've taken the chunky yarn on an 8mm hook and they've doubled it. So we now have a super chunky, I'm guessing, which is 2 strands of chunky held double. And Kerry said they did it on a 10mm hook, but probably could have been a 12mm hook. So this was on an 8mm. So yeah, if you imagine, let's double him again. So Mark woke up one morning and said, did you see Kerry's story? Are you going to make a super chunky? And I was like, yes, because now I need a super chunky. So there will be a bigger Martin Bear at some point. I have some yarn left over from this. I was very kindly gifted the yarn to make the 4 different sizes by Toft. I have some yarn left over from the chunky one. So I just need to work out quantities. I might buy the wool when we go to Ali Pali in a couple of weeks, and then I've got it. But it's going to be, I found this really hard on my hands. I'm not sure, crocheters amongst you, how you find crocheting with chunky yarn, but I found it really hard going because it's quite a dense fabric. And the big hook. So I'm not sure how easy a 12mm hook's going to be, or even a 10mm. I don't have either of those hooks either, so I will need to get a hook as well. But I wonder if it's one that I can... I feel like he's staring at me. What are you looking at? I feel like I can... it's really weird because he's obviously got eyes and a face, and I'm looking at it, it's like I feel like I'm some kind of like ventriloquist puppet. I don't know where this video is going now. Like I can just like make an odd arm every now and then, and I can just do it at some point. Whereas the other 4, I made them during September. That was my thing, to try and finish them. There was like a bit of a deadline on them. So we have the 4 Martin Bears, which is just amazing. Like I still can't quite believe that I've joined the menagerie, and we've got a plethora of bears, a pack, a sloth, whatever they are. So yeah, bears all around the flat. I might make some bears for the kids for Christmas, maybe. I want to make hats for the Christmas kids, for the kids for Christmas. Like, I've got things I want to make. We'll see. The one thing I did want to show off, though, and there's a lovely lady called Hannah, who I will pop her Instagram details below. Hannah is a Toft crocheter and also a needle puncher. And coming with the bears, again, if you're a Toft person, you know that Toft have the patches that you get when you meet some of the staff members or that come exclusive with different kits. And I've talked about the patches previously. There's a whole Toft playlist. If you're just finding me from Toft and you want to go and watch a bit more, go and find the Toft playlist and you can go and watch all the Toft videos. But what Hannah does is she's needle punched me one of these. And it's just the cutest. Let me get out of the way. So Hannah makes these for all of the staff patches. So the background design here is the background design that's on the backer of my actual patch. Oh, I can show you the patch if you don't know. I have a box of them. So there's my patch. So with the Martin Bears, when it launched over the weekend, you could get a Martin Bear patch. Now you need to see me at shows and do a show and tell. You can't just come up and say, can I have a patch? Because that's not how it works. You need to bring something and go, look what I've made. It doesn't need to be a Martin Bear. It just needs to be something from Toft. And then you can get a Martin Bear patch. So there's my backer. And what Hannah's done is needle punched the background design, which is just the most, it's so detailed and I just love it. And then the patch itself sits in the middle. So Hannah's made one for all of the staff members. I think she's got 3 staff members left to make that she said, and she's hoping to have those done in time for the Kew Gardens event that's happening in December. But she bought this with her. I was at the Natural History Museum on Friday helping out with Toft at the workshop that we made for the Picasso bug. And Hannah very kindly gifted this to me, which was just, it's so heartwarming and just really, really lovely. So thank you so much, Hannah, if you're watching, and thank you very much for the really thoughtful gift. I just love it. So it's going to live on the bookcase. I'm not sure where Giant Martin's going to live. He might live in the hallway or on the spare bed, but I think Martin's going to go on the bookcase, pride of place, and I think the needle punch is going to go with him. So yes, it's been so much fun making all of these Martins. Let's then stick, that's all my finished objects. I have another finished object. I'm just trying to work out, let's stick with crochet, then we'll move to knitting rather than do it. I know I usually do finished objects, whips, but I feel like it's been a while since I did one of these. I'm out of practice. Let's stick with crochet. So the other thing I was going to mention then from a crochet perspective is I've been working on this sampler blanket. So this also came in the patterns in the Toft Quarterly. And you get to make the Roma sampler blanket, which is this really cool blanket here in 7 colours. And there are different stitch patterns in here. There are bobbles, waffle stitch, basket weave, twisted trebles, clusters. I think there's ordinary trebles. Like, there's a lot of different stitch patterns within here. There's a schematic for how it works as well as the written pattern. I should probably say, if you want to get a Martin Bear, you can buy the kit directly from the Toft website, or you can currently subscribe either as an ongoing subscription or as a one-off to the Toft Quarterly magazine, and then you can get the Martin Bear pattern. You can also get the blanket pattern. You can get the hat pattern that I showed off just now. There's another pattern coming up here in whips. So you can get that from the Toft website as well. But that sampler blanket is in there. And Kerry started this as a crochet along a few weeks ago, where we learned to make all of the stitches. So we started here with this central panel and then we moved our way out, and you just keep turning the blanket every 4, and then I think you upside down it and then you turn it. So it's a really great pattern, and it's very similar to like you're all shouting at me now. What's the knitted log cabin blanket? Is it called a log cabin? I think it's called a log cabin blanket. If it's not, you're all shouting at the telly. But it's very similar to that you basically are just working on one small panel at a time. So I really, really like this. Mark chose the colours. I wasn't fussed on the colours to start with. I said to Mark, go through my stash, choose some colours, because Mark is the interior designer of the flat. I don't really have any say in the colours and the palette. So I said to Mark, would you go through my stash, have a look through, choose some colours that go with what I've got in my stash, but also what go in the flat. And I hoped he would pick out a load of yellows, blues, teals, which is kind of the predominant colour. But he didn't. He chose all these really natural colours. And I was like, oh, okay. I was quite positive with them. Oh, they're lovely. And then internally, I was a bit like, I'm not sure about that. But I actually really love them. Because I think the neutrals go so well together now with the browns and the greys. So yeah, so that is my least favourite one. This silver here in this waffle stitch. Really not a fan of the waffle stitch. Obsessed with crochet rib. These front post, back posts, love them. So yeah, so I've got this too. I finished round 4. It's getting bigger now. The rows are getting longer. I had all of the yarn in my stash, which says something about my stash, for the colours that Mark chose, apart from the silver. And he really wanted the silver colour to give us a kind of a lighter grey and kind of start to move between the cream and the brown. So I did have to order 100 grams of silver. But apart from that, I think it's nearly 600 grams of yarn. So I've got over 500 grams from my stash, which I think is pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. But I've just finished round 4 and it is... Have I finished round 4? No, I've just finished round 3, sorry. So I've got rounds 4, 5 and 6 and then the border. I'm parking this now for the moment because I feel like it's at a nice plate where I've finished a complete round. I'm going to take this to Alexandra Palace with me. So I'm going to be at the Knitting and Stitching show on the Saturday. I'm going to take this as my show and tell so that I can then get my pangolin patch. So I will be there on Saturday if anyone's going to be there. Probably only in the morning. We're seeing friends Saturday night, so we need to leave just after lunch. So bit of a flying visit. But I feel like it's at a nice stage now that I can take it with me and I can go and show Kerry. I need to sew some ends in. I've not done any of those so far. Kerry recommends blocking, then sewing in ends. I've never really been a fan of that on my... I feel like blocking is the final stage. So even on my shawls, I sew all my ends in and then I block it. And I feel like you're either in one of the two camps. We'll see. But that's my other... So that was a new cast on, an acquisition for the silver, and it's now a whip. But I'm really happy with that one. And I think it's quite a nice project. I often talk about the fact that I have a lot of projects, and I have a lot of projects that are all different types of projects where I can come in, I'm really energized, I finish work and I'm like, I want to do something complex. So I get something like this, like complex color work. Sometimes I just want something really, really mindless that I haven't really got to think about. And more often than not, that's just like a knitted sock or an amigurumi where there's no like loops or color change. I just want to do legs and bodies that I don't have to think about. But I think this is going to be very similar in order to be able to just work on it, because like this here is just a panel of trebles. So I feel like there are some of the patterns that I don't need to concentrate on. Waffle stitch, I have to concentrate. So I feel like waffle stitch is like complex color changing, because I'm not really sure still of the front post, back post. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good project for the winter, and hopefully I can get it then done at some point. But we all know Mystery Knit Along is coming, so that's going to now go in hibernation with the bears for at least October, maybe even November, December. We'll see. At some point, you can ask me how my blanket's getting on, and I'll let you know. So that's crochet done. So let's move on to knitting. So I've been working on 3 projects this month. So one of my whips, if you've been here a while, you will recognize this. Bear with, I'm trying to get it out of the project bag and I'm stuck. Okay. So this is the Painting Honeycomb sock by Stephen West of West Knits. And I started knitting this earlier in the year. This was going to be a sock for Mark. And I was coming down here and I was like, I don't think that's going to fit him. I think it's going to be too small. It's got a lovely double cuff, which you knit a long cuff and then you fold it in on itself and pick up the stitches. I really love it. Mark loves the patterns. And this is yarn by Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. And she has this really cute pink fade kit that you can see starts up here in this lovely, almost neon-y pink. And then you can see, so there's 3, 3, 3. If you focus on the colours, you can see the colours fade in. So it's these little minis in these super cool pinks. But as I was making it, I was looking at it, I was going, I think that's really small. And what I did is I usually, to match Stephen's tension, I have to go down a needle size. So I didn't swatch, I just jumped in. And when I've made Stephen's sock patterns previously, I always go down a needle size. But I think something about the honeycomb pattern has made it a little bit smaller. So the more I was knitting on it, the more I was convinced it wasn't going to fit Mark. Did the heel turn and the first couple of rows. Mark tried it on and it doesn't fit. But have no fear because I've got plenty of yarn. So what I've agreed with Gemma is this is going to be a shop sample for her to show off the fade. And then I will make Mark another pair. The pattern calls for a 2.25mm needle. I went down to a 2mm. I am team double point. I know lots of you are not team double point, either short circlers or magic loop. Me and magic loop are not good friends. I just cannot, I can't do it. It's too fiddly. I get ladders, I drop stitches. It's terrible. I met a lovely lady called Anya at East Anglia Yarn Festival earlier in the year, who was super quick at knitting socks and gave me the tip that you have them on 3 needles and then knit onto a 4th, whereas I was previously on 4 needles knitting onto a 5th. And just that little tip of taking 1 needle away really increased my speed with which I could knit. So I've been ticking over on this project. I picked this back up because I went to the Unravel Yarn Show with Gemma in September. So I was around here at the yarn show and I managed to put some extra rounds in on it. I've got one more colour to come in. So I've got one more repeat, well, this repeat that I'm doing now in this 4th colour, and then I've got a 5th colour to add in, and then just the toe. So that might be one that makes a bit of an appearance during October if I need something a bit mindless. The pattern is now actually quite quick because the bottom of the sock is just knit flat, and the honeycomb pattern is just knit down the top of the sock. So that is the Painting Honeycombs sock by Stephen West. And I'm glad to have picked that up. So my plan is to try and get that finished, get that off to Gemma as a show sample, and then at least cast it on to make Mark a pair of socks. So that's the one project I've been working on in September. And then the other project I've been working on in September is, where's the pattern? There it is. So again, if you've watched for a while, you'll know I was kind of gifted some West Yorkshire Spinners yarn and patterns for their new Bo Peep range that they launched. And this is the Madeline cardigan. And I'm making this for niece 3, Thea, who is the youngest of all the nieces by 2 weeks. Niece 3 and nephew 1 are born 2 weeks apart to different brothers. They didn't plan it, like we spread them out. We've got 2 now at the same age, which is super cute, seeing them together. So there's a close-up. So it's got this, it's a little kind of like matinee jacket. And it's got this really cute little yoke. So I've been trying to just keep ticking away at this. I'm making the age 2 to 3. They will be 3 in December. But what I have been doing is adding some length to the bodies and things, and I'll give it a little stretch when it blocks. It'll be fine. I tried Noah's on him the other day. It's not quite finished. I still got some ends to put in, and it will fit him fine all through the winter. So I'm not worried about that. But I've been making some progress on this. It's a lot of knitting, this one. So when you saw this last, I know I'm flinging it around. Sorry, I'm trying to find the decreases. There are some decreases here. You can just about make them out. So I think when you'd seen it last, I was just about to do the last decrease. So I've now done a lot of knitting. There's over 100 and something stitches, and it's just knits and purls. It's a really mindless knit. And basically it's knit bottom up, so it's a really great construction. So it's going to look like this. So we will pick stitches up here along the edges, and we will add a button band. And I'm really excited for this next stage. So once I finish these, I've got about 1.5 centimeters to go, and then the body's done. I thought I dropped a stitch then, I haven't. If you're new here, I do this quite a lot. I fling projects around to show you, and I don't have stoppers. I've got a box of stoppers, I just never put them on, which is my own fault when I then lose stitches and I'm like, oh. And often what happens is folks watching will notice that I've dropped stitches before I do, and then you've got a bit of a moment of peril. Is it going to unravel, or is Martin going to catch it? I thought I'd drop one. So yeah, really cool construction. And then what you actually do is once you've got the right length, you then, because it's done bottom up, so you make the sleeves separately. Then I'm going to knit a number of stitches off here. Then I'm going to knit the stitches off the sleeve. So you're going to knit the sleeves in. That's going to be cool. I might try and film that. That could be a good reel and show how I do it. But effectively, yeah, we knit bottom up. Once I hit the length there, I then knit the sleeves in, and then I continue to knit back and forth with the sleeves in. I was like, why are you so far away? Knit back and forth then with the sleeves in, and then we add this little pattern effect on the yoke, and then do some short rows and we do some decreasing. So I've not finished the sleeves yet. I've not made the sleeves yet. I've not cast the sleeves on. While I'm here, actually, what needles do I need? So I'm going, because we're going to my mum's in a bit, and we're going to be there for a good few hours. So I might see if I can find the needles. I can't find the sleeves. Oh, using 3.25 mil and change, right. So I need 3.25s and 4 mil. Because I could take that with me. That would be a good little project. My mum's a knitter. Bless her. She's very slow. And she doesn't...
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, shush. I don't know why she said that. Yeah, she's very slow, bless her. She's just retired. So we had to get her last knitting project out. She's making a cardigan. It's a Rowan pattern. Really lovely, but it's a striped pattern with increases as well. So I've had to write out for her where she was in the pattern. So I had to look at it, and it was good practice for me, because I had to look at it and try and count the number of rows, work out which color section we were on, try and find out where we were in the pattern. Because no word of a lie, it must have been about 4 years since she last knit on it. So we were both looking at it going, did you not mark the pattern to I'm here? And she's like, no. Can you help me? I was like, yeah, I can help you. Let's. So I'm going to take this with me. So that'll be quite a nice thing I can do at my mum's. So I've made some good progress. I feel like I've done the main part of this now, because this is a lot of stocking stitch. I'm now into the smaller bit. So I need 2 sleeves, then we join them in, do the little yoke, and then the button bands, and it's done. But they're all smaller bits. Do you know what I mean? The bulk of the knitting is done now. So actually the bits I've got left, I'm just making a little sleeve and then another. In my head, it's going to go quickly. So yeah, so I'm hoping I'm going to make that. I do want to get that finished in October. So this next week now, before MKAL starts. So you're watching this Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. We've got 3 more sleeps until the mission knit along. So I'm going to try and make some progress on this before MKAL starts. That's really the only thing I'm going to work on because I want to try and get that finished. And then my other finished object, move Liberty. So my only finished knitted object is my beloved MKAL. I just love it so much. So viewers from last year will know that I decided to make 2. And then we reset and I pattern and I got behind with the 2 of them and I've literally just finished this one now this month. So this is in yarn by Punk Rock Unicorn. And these are my colours. These are the most gorgeous blues. I just love the colours. And so it was a kit that I got from Stephen and Penelope. I can't remember the kit name, I'm afraid. And I don't know where I would look to find it to pop it on screen. So all I can tell you is by Punk Rock Unicorn. And then what I also did do is I got this lovely fluff with this kind of deep petrol-y, greeny, tealy colour, which kind of muddies the blues a little bit. And then when I use the Suri fluff, I replaced colour C, so this royal blue colour. So the fluff is in section 1. I did the crochet start. So I put a round of the Suri here, and then I replaced the blue with the fluff. And then on these final sections, so on the wingtip, there's no fluff because I wasn't doing fluff in this texture, and there's no fluff in the final section with the dip stitches. So I don't know what yarn base Punk Rock Unicorn used, but it feels like butter. It's so soft. And yeah, so we now have 2 shawls. So stick around to the end of the video because there may or may not be, there will be, a shawl dance to show off my finished object. But also, I think I've convinced Mark to join in the shawl dance because he also has one of these shawls and we can wear them together. We can be his and his shawls. So yeah, this is the Geo Gradient. I didn't say the pattern name, did I? This is the Geo Gradient shawl. Last year's Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West. I just stopped talking so you can admire it. Don't adjust your sound. There's no sound. I've got loads of yarn left and I like the idea. Linda did it. So Linda is one of Stephen's test knit. Linda is the test knit coordinator. Sorry, she's one of Stephen's test knitters. Those of you that have done MKAL and all the collaboration stuff that I do with Irina from Fibre Chats, we've had Linda on our Zooms and interviews in previous years. And Linda does a thing in some years where she does socks to match your shawl. And you grab one of the motifs and turn it into a sock pattern. So I've got more than enough yarn to make a pair of socks. However, when have I got time to do that? So at some point I would love to do that. There's also something in my head about those of you that are big West Knitters, MKAL people. What do you do with your leftovers? Because this is my 5th year of MKAL, but it's my 6th MKAL shawl because obviously I made 2 this year or last year. I've got all the yarn left over from the individual shawls. And I wonder at some point, when I've got time, about making like an MKAL inspired coloured blanket. I think that would look really cool because I could use, that's the slip extravaganza section, that's the shawlography section, that's the Starflake section. I like the concept of it. It needs more thinking. I need to mull it around a little bit more. But yeah, what do you do with do you just use the leftovers, put them in a bag and they just go into your stash? Do you make socks, gloves, hats? Hats to match your shawl. Because then I would be that person as well, that I would wear my shawl with my matching hat. That didn't work, did it? Matching hat? Oh, that would be nice. Answers below. Let me know. I've kind of got this, yeah, what do you do with your leftovers? Because I've got lots of leftovers now from all the previous years. I think with Shawlography, I used a kit by Lola Bean Yarn Co. and I made Mark socks. They're really cute with like a deep, if you know my MKAL, it's the deep red wine and the bluey, and the greys. So I made socks with that one because I joined in with Linda's sock along. But I don't think I've done much else. So yeah, let me know. What can I do with my leftovers? But I love it. So this is my finished object. All my ends have been sewn in. Sometimes some of you like to see the reverse. Let me show you. So this is the front side with the slip stitches. And then that's the reverse side. So you can see the little colour change lines. And then the same on the dips. No fringe for me. And I think that is my plan not to put fringe on. Because I was making two, I wanted mine to be the opposite of Mark's. So Mark's is fully knit. Where is Mark's? Oh, there it is. I was like, where is it? It's around somewhere. It was in my bag. So this is Mark's. So this is made with Undercover Otter Yak. It's really soft and it's got a lovely drape about it. You can see it. Oh, it's nice. So Mark has the knitted section of the triangles in the centre. You can actually see the stitch definition on the dip stitches much more in the yak yarn. There is no mohair or suri. Mark is not a fan. It makes him itch on his nose. So there's no, so Mark's got a knitted section for the centre. I've got a crochet section. I've got suri fluff. Mark doesn't have any suri fluff. Mark has fringe. I don't want fringe. My only comment was going to be when I blocked it, or before I blocked it, and a few of you had this, we talked about this last year, where the dip stitches are on the bottom and with the placement of the I-cord bind off, it can roll. So when you actually bound it off, most of the border actually rolled up like that. So my only hesitation about no fringing was going to be as long as the border doesn't need it. So I've blocked it and I quite aggressively pinned the I-cord, and I'm happy to say I don't have any bending, curling. The word escaped me. I don't have any curling. But that would be my, if I had to put fringe on, the curling would annoy me more than the fringe would. So I did contemplate putting fringe on it if it started curling, because I think the addition of the fringing on the edge of the shawl does help to weigh it down and stop the curl. But luckily it blocked out brilliantly and I don't need to do it. I don't know what I'm doing now. So I've now got two shawls. And stay tuned at the end of this video for the shawl dance. So that's it for finished objects and whips. There's a very short acquisition section coming up. I didn't buy this yarn. This yarn was gifted. This is by Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. She started doing boucle yarn. I've never used boucle yarn before. I have no idea what it's going to be like, but Gemma is one of my very good friends, and these colours obviously are Gemma, The Little Grey Girl. It's the two grey colours. So this is Salterton and Foundry, and Gemma has asked me to crochet her a Martin bear. So I'm going to crochet, it's going to look like a proper teddy bear, isn't it, in boucle. So I'm going to crochet a Martin just using two colours. So I think what we said we're going to do is a dark legs, body, arms, head, and then where we have the frills and the ears, they would be in the light colour. I think that's what we said. I just need to double check with her before I do it. This is DK, this is DK. So this is done on a 3mm, but I figured, and I talked about this on one of the Zooms, I think I need to use a 4mm because the boucle is a little bit thicker. So may need to go up to a 4mm. Anyone with boucle experience, please let me know. That would be great. But at some point, I might do this again. This could be in October, something small. So Thea's cardigan, and then this as a crochet, perhaps. And then the other stash acquisition I got. Now this is part of the I'm part of the Toft Dye Club, and I don't have every quarters because I've got a lot of yarn and I've got a lot of projects, and I mostly remember to go and skip the subscription. It's a quarterly dye club where you get a hand-dyed skein of yarn, and I forgot to skip it. So this is the yarn that has arrived for this quarter, and this is to make the Cobalt Tarantula. I was going to say the Cobalt Tarantula. What's a Tarantula? Tarantula. So this has arrived, and I won't put a picture up on screen because I know lots of people, Mark included, do not like 8-legged friends. But this yarn, oh, is this not my colour? Look, that's the royal blue from my MKAL. Oh, lush. Blues, yellows, creams. So that arrived, and I was like, oh, what can I do with that? Haha. In the Toft Quarterly, I'm absolutely not on commission. I'm not selling these magazines. You can go and get that. There's just a lot of patterns. The Quarterly comes out quarterly, obviously, and there are 5 knitting patterns and 5 crochet patterns. And sometimes I look at them and there's a lot of things I want to make, and I have made things from them in the past. Sometimes they're not my personal style. You can get, though, the pattern for Martin Bear, as I said. There's a little blurb, Making Martin, that I wrote. But also, there's a shawl in this. So this is called the Compass Shawl. And I need to see if I can... I don't want to give away the pattern, obviously, but I need to work out how I can show you this picture. Yeah, there we go. Right, that'll do. So you can see the pattern here. So that's the shape of the shawl. And what I really like about it is it's in double knit. So that's the shape of the shawl. And the brown side here is made in striping the garter stitch. And then the orange section is just in plain. So my plan is on the plain orange side is to just use this, because it's going to pool in a really weird way, because obviously you start with just a small number of stitches. I actually don't know this. Do you start with contrast color 1? Yes, you start with the orange. You start with just casting on 3 stitches. So I'm really intrigued to see how the yarn plays out, because obviously we're going from just a small number of stitches and we're going to increase out. So I wonder if the yarn will pool in a way, but it will then eventually, when we get to the slightly larger stripes, I think it will give me stripes. So I'm really excited to put that into a shawl. And then what I'll do is the second half of the shawl then, where you've got the 2 browns, I think I'm going to then have a look through my stash again, and I'll grab some colours that go with this. So possibly the 2 greys there. So the silver and the steel, that might be quite nice. Or a silver and a cream. But I'll knit this section first and then see how the colours play. Because what I don't know, because it's skeined up at the moment, I don't know, is the predominant colour the blue? I'm guessing it is. And there's a little bit of cream. So actually I might want to then go into like a lighter blue, like a primrose. Not sure. So I've got that skein and I'm going to turn that into a shawl. So I'm very excited about that at some point. So that is going to be, it's 275 grams of double knit. So it's about 3 skeins of yarn. So we'll see, but that's obviously not going to be started anywhere this side of MKAL. it probably won't even be started this side of Christmas. There's another project in here that Mark wants, which is the plaid scarf. Now this is really clever because the pattern for this is you knit this and then these vertical lines here are crocheted on afterwards. I don't know how we're going to do that, but that's exciting. So it's a knit and a crochet. Mark wants it in like Burberry-esque colours, so in browns, which will be really nice. So actually, it isn't just because it's the quarterly that I'm in. It's autumnal colours, it's the fall, it's my time of year. It's all the colours that I like. So I'm really excited to, yeah, make more things on this one. So that was my, that was a stash acquisition. That's going to be a shawl. And then the other thing I've got, I have a handbag that I keep all of my things in. And when I was at Unravel, no word of a lie, that bag was a tip. You couldn't find anything in it. And I picked up this bag, ye old bag of witchy, I'm not going to swear for profanity, but you can see the word. And I got this from Kitey from the Yarn Whisperer. And it is a really big bag. So in here, I've got my my portable charger, never without a battery pack. I've got my cables. I've got an actual charger. My headphones live in here. It's a really, so the charger itself only comes to like there. It's a really big bag. So we all stayed in an Airbnb and Kitey was like, what is going on in that bag of yours? Because I don't know, there's stuff everywhere and it's really stressing me out. So I got one of these bags, ye oldie bag of witchy. I'll pop Kitey's shop below. Kitey's got loads of lovely bags and things that are yarny related. And yeah, this was a game changer because now all of my cables, all of my headphones, everything, my readers, in a case, in there, that goes in my bag. Those of you with handbags are probably going, you're just new to handbags and you're not organised enough. And that is very true. So yeah, so got this from Kitey for keeping me organised, which is great. And I think that's it. That's not bad going. 52 minutes. That's not bad going, considering I haven't done one of these monthly roundups for a while. I feel like there's loads I've forgotten. I feel like there's more yarn I've probably bought. I just don't need to confess it to you. I just can't think. I feel like I've forgotten some yarn purchases. I'm not sure. But that was enough to be sharing, right? So yeah, it's been a really busy month. If you think about, because I made Martin, technically, I think I finished him in August. So I've made 3 bears, including a giant chunky one, and including this little, this one took longer, I think, than the double knit. We won't go back into it. You know I didn't like it. Finishing my shawl, I had a lot of, it wasn't just sewing in the ends on my shawl. I had to do all of the dip stitch, and I finished the dip stitch, I think, the week of Unravel. So that would have been the 13th, 14th of September. So mid-September, I was still knitting on this. Then I had all the ends, all the blocking, etc. I've done loads on Thea's cardigan. So I feel like I've had a really productive month. And I'm definitely going, I really like this format of grabbing everything. Because sometimes in the weekly format, I love sitting down and chatting to you all weekly. But I feel like I miss things. And sometimes it's nice to then just take a step back and go, oh, wow, you did a lot. So I do really like the monthly roundup. So maybe the monthly roundups are coming back. It will come back in October because obviously I'll do a wrap up in November about everything else that I worked on non-MKAL. Then we'll do one in December. Yeah, so maybe we'll bring back the monthly roundup and then I think we'll still try and do like a little check-in each week, but maybe there is something about the grabbing everything together and just having a chat over a cuppa with you lovely Knit 365 folk. I think that's going to be my plan. Let me know in the comments below. What do you want to see? I've said this in So many videos. I'll keep making videos as long as you folks keep watching them. Please like, share, subscribe, spread the word, but let me know what you want to see in these videos. If you like the monthly format, let me know. If you prefer the weekly format, there will still be weekly videos, but I think I like the bring it all together. So let me know. And I think that's it. So we're just coming up to an hour. I'm going to end this video now. I've got my first Zoom Humans of West Knits with Irina tonight. So too late. This video will be live and that will have happened. So you can go back and watch that. I'll pop the link in the description box below. You can go and head over to Irina's Fibre Chats channel and see the first Humans of West Knits. Humans of West Knits. I will be showing off my yarn more in that video. So that you can see it. And please join us. If you're joining in the Mystery Knit Along, please join us on Thursday for the launch party. We are going to do 2 cast-on parties, and I'm going to put the times in the description box below this video. I want to say 6 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. Eastern time, which I think is about 11 p.m. British time. The times will be in the description box below. Come and join us Thursday night for cast-on party. Most of you will have cast on already. I certainly will have made a start on my shawl because I've got Thursday and Friday off work again. It's my little tradition. And yeah, I can't wait, as you can tell. So thank you very much for being here. Loads and loads of content coming up on this channel then because of Vlogtober and getting ready for the Mission Knit Along, and also things like everyday life in Vlogtober. The Christmas cake needs to be made. We need to have a little tidy round for the flat and start getting ready for the autumn properly and get ready for Christmas. And yeah, I'm not sure what else we'll be getting up to. We'll be going to Ali Pali again. There'll be things. So I can't wait to share my October with you through Vlogtober. So thank you very much for being here. Let me know in the comments below what you've been working on in September. Have you made a Martin Bear? Have you finished last year's MKAL? Are you joining in this MKAL? What do you want to see? Let's get the comments right and alive. Right and alive? Alive and chatty. And I'll try and spend some time in the comments. I find it really difficult sometimes to keep up with all the comments. So I'm not great at replying, but I read every comment you leave, I promise. But I will try and spend some time throughout Vlogtober responding to the comments in this video and those videos. So let me know in the comments below. Let's get some discussions going. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. I will see lots of you on the Zoom calls, hopefully with Irina. I will see lots of you during Vlogtober, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's been lovely to share all the things I've been making with you. I'm now going to go and get ready, go to my mum's for a roast dinner, but I need to go and find those double-pointed needles first in the needle box of doom. We'll show the needle box of doom during Vlogtober because I can never find the needles that I need. So we're going to go find those needles and then do some sleeves. So thank you very much for watching. I will be back probably Tuesday with the launch of Vlogtober video on the 1st of October, either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll be back this week. Thank you very much for joining, and until we speak again, happy crafting.